I think about the gentleman that led Mount Zion Wesleyan Church for so many years. This was before me, Robert Van Cise. I attended Mount Zion Wesleyan Church before I was ever there in a ministerial role. And he affirmed my call even then, because I would come along beside him occasionally and fill the pulpit. And he and his wife, Veerlyn, helped me grow spiritually and affirmed my call.
But I know a lot of people that have denied the call because they feel like the Lord can't use them as they are. I think that that's a really good space for senior pastors or youth pastors, if they're working with teenagers that are wrestling with that, to speak into their lives and be like, no, the Lord wants to use you right now. Pastor Tim has given me so many opportunities. I've got to speak at funerals, and I get to preach once a month, and go to board meetings and all sorts of stuff like that I never would have thought about, being parts of pastoral ministry, going to hospital visits and nursing home, and it's just been giving me a lot of time to learn more about how God can use me.
Y ese año dio un giro. En el 2023 retomo mis clases y de ahí dije, voy a seguir. No me fue fácil, les voy a decir, no me fue fácil, pero gloria a Dios, ahorita, con este tiempo ya que llevo retomándolas, empiezo a amar nuevamente, amar el estudiar, el prepararme mejor para servir a Dios. De hecho, en la iglesia estoy motivando a los otros líderes, a los otros hermanos que tomen la clase, ya sea de oyente o pasarlo, para que ellos puedan servir mejor a Dios en el área en que están. Y es algo que me encanta. Ahora que estoy, es un nuevo comienzo para mí en mi vida, en lo personal, un nuevo comienzo donde he visto la mano de Dios formando, transformando, moldeando mi persona, mi carácter a su servicio. Y eso es de Flama. Flama es donde me estoy preparando y capacitando para dar mi mejor servicio a Dios.
Back in 2012, I was having lunch with a pastor friend of mine, and he was the one that really looked at who I was, talked to me specifically about some of the raw skills that I had that really, if they were developed, I would be in a position where I could certainly sow into the lives of others in a very, very meaningful and a very relatable way. So spending time with James was incredible for me. We still, to this day, have a relationship. Oddly enough, I'm about 10 years older than he is, but he's been pastoring way longer than I have. And he's really served as a pastoral mentor for me. He's helped me understand my calling.
I had been serving in my local church for about 14 or 15 years. And so I was surprised that I started feeling the call of God on my life. And so finally, some things happened where I talked to my senior pastor at the time, and he sat up and looked at me and he goes, "You feel called." When he said it, I knew that I'd been called, and he just said it out loud for the first time. And so that scared me. And I talked to my husband and other pastors and friends, and I thought, okay, well, I'll at least take classes and we'll see where that goes. And so it was affirmed repeatedly. God is so creative. He uses all different races, and he uses all different ages, and he uses men and women, and he's calling these people. So I want to be on the team that's helping to support them and grow them and encourage them and pray for them and just lift them up, because if he's calling them, I want to be supporting them.
I had opportunities. I was a PK in a small church, and at the age of 15, I was voted into being the vice president of our youth group. And we didn't have youth pastors, we had youth sponsors. And I was placed in a situation where I had to lead, and I did that. And as I did that, God developed certain skills and abilities as I continued on that path.
One thing that we often miss in helping people find their call to ministry is we want to pass them off to the next thing. And as local church pastors, one of the greatest things we can do to help strengthen someone in their preparation for answering God's call is that local church investment. It's spending some extra time with that leader. It's having another cup of coffee with them. It's asking them the hard questions about where are they struggling in their life and where do they see God working? What are some things they might be holding back from God that they need to let go of to allow God to do something amazing in their life? But I believe it starts in that local church setting.
I'm so excited that God is still calling women and men to ministry today. It's not easy, the road can be difficult, but the clarity of God's call, when He speaks to your heart and that call persists and you just can't get away from it, you know, here I stand, I can do no other. I'm so grateful that God is calling people like that. I'm grateful for the process that we have in the Wesleyan Church that allows multiple pathways to prepare for ministry. I'm so grateful that God still calls women and men. Yes, I said women and men. Joel prophesied that in the last days, women and men would prophesy. They would speak the truth of God. And Peter stands up on the day of Pentecost and says, this is what was prophesied, women and men declaring the glory of God. Grateful for our heritage, our legacy, but I'm so excited for our future as I see the people that God is calling, and perhaps He's calling you. Hear His call, answer it. Let us assist you as you do that. We're so grateful for the privilege of serving together.